I don't know what the hell it is. It's Project 25. He's involved in Project. And then they read some of the things and they are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme. But I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it. But what they do is misinformation and disinformation. And they keep saying, he's a threat to democracy. I'm saying, what the hell did I do for democracy? Last week, I took a bullet for democracy. What did I do against democracy?
Donald Trump finding a new ally this election, billionaire Elon Musk. The two men are set to appear on the platform formerly known as Twitter, now X, later tonight for what Musk is promising will be a, quote, unscripted and no-limits conversation. Trump is now getting used to the fact that Musk endorsed him shortly after the assassination attempt, even though he's been critical of SpaceX and the Tesla CEO in the past.
And I'm for electric cars. I have to be, because Elon endorsed me very strongly, Elon. So I have no choice.
Musk's rise as a Trump backer comes as X has turned into a haven for the spread of misinformation. Since buying the site almost 2 years ago, Musk's site has struggled to control it on topics ranging from the election to the assassination attempt against Trump. Sometimes the bad information has been boosted by Musk himself, who posted a conspiracy regarding the attack on Paul Pelosi in October of 2022 before deleting it.
This is CNN, guys, the same news outlet that told us that President Joe Biden is still mentally sharp, the same one that pushed for miracle jabs. And just like the other left-leaning media news outlets, they were in full force to denounce that the VP was ever appointed as the border czar.
Quote unquote border czar. Vice President Harris was not a border czar.
Meantime, Vice President and border czar Kamala Harris facing some backlash.
What he said about Harris and immigration was not true. She was never appointed border czar.
And this will be her first visit to the U.S.-Mexico border region since she was appointed as the border czar by President Biden.
People are going to have to counter the misinformation. You already hear folks talking about the border czar. She wasn't the border czar.
President Biden tapped Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, to be the border czar.
Now, she wasn't the border czar. That's what Republicans labeled her.
They were very critical of Kamala Harris, especially in her role as border czar.
Now what she's up against is folks lying about her border record, calling her a border czar.
Kamala Harris, who was appointed as the border czar.
The Biden team didn't declare her the border czar. They wanted her to work on kind of the root causes of immigration.
There has been so much criticism against Kamala Harris. She was the border czar.
Calling her sort of the border czar, which wasn't necessarily the case.
So the border, if they weren't planning to address it in a major way, do not make her your border czar. She met with some of the Northern Triangle countries, but nothing has effectively changed.
So we're supposed to trust these news outlets, right? And that was just the tip of the iceberg. They are literally lying to our faces about just one fact regarding Kamala Harris. What else are they willing to lie about? But of course, it's Donald Trump and Elon Musk who are trying to deceive the American people, and they're spreading lies, misinformation all through X. Now you gotta think, mainstream media is merely projecting what they're capable of doing to the American people. They want to convince us that platforms that support free speech are the sources of misinformation and disinformation, when in fact, it's actually them who's spreading these blatant lies rampantly. And here's something funny. Even the European Union is scared of the facts that might come out from this conversation. European Commissioner Thierry Breton warned Elon Musk about penalties that his company X may face if they don't address the spread of illegal content. So Breton kind of quoted Uncle Ben from Spider-Man by saying, "With great audience comes great responsibility." Elon Musk then fired back with a quote of his own from the movie Tropic Thunder. It's a line from Tom Cruise where he tells a terrorist organization to take a step back and bleep their own face. Now you guys get the point here. The CEO, billionaire, has always been an advocate for free speech, so it's pretty clear he supports what Donald Trump is doing here. In fact, Elon Musk has also been very vocal about the issues with illegal immigration, something that both the United States and the EU are facing right now. Now, because of this, the EU is looking to censor social media to limit anything that they don't think the public should know about. What gives them the right to choose what the public should know about? At least this is what critics have called them out on.
The world's largest digital companies have nowhere to hide, as sweeping new rules cracking down on tech giants come into play. The EU's Digital Service Act is taking the internet by storm, marking the toughest regulation since social media burst onto screens.
The DSR is here to protect free speech against arbitrary decisions, and at the same time to protect our citizens and democracies against illegal content.
If you're watching in Europe and own a smartphone, which probably applies to everyone, then you're going to start noticing changes over the next few months with new safety, verification and consent features. The DSA will force companies with over 45 million monthly users like Google, YouTube and Instagram to clean up its act in terms of its content moderation, user privacy and transparency. But this laundry list is still unclear over free speech. Most large platforms already remove lawful but awful content, but the lines are blurry for keyboard warriors on X, for instance. But even billionaire Elon Musk, who took over the Twitter platform last year and immediately butted heads with the EU over content, is agreeing to comply.
Now guys, this was a little over a year ago, and you have to wonder, what is about free speech that they're just so worried about? Are they afraid of citizens that are being informed of the truth? Because that's the optics if you look at it closely. These social media sites, they already have rules to remove illegal content. So what's the use of adding the same policy twice? The same idea is being done here in the United States. I mean, you guys saw how mainstream media switched up their message regarding Vice President Kamala Harris. In fact, many of us were told that she was the most unpopular VP in our country's history. But as soon as President Biden was forced to vacate his spot at the top, she's now being reported as the one to beat Donald Trump. Really?
Some numbers in a moment, Anderson, but first let's just start with this. I have the map this way because we are now back in what we thought at the beginning of the year, before Biden's debate, before the questions about his age, that this would be the state of the race, right? 6 essentially battleground states. After that debate, remember, the Trump campaign was saying, we're going to put New Mexico in play, we're going to put Virginia in play, we're going to put New Hampshire in play, we're going to run away with this. That was the mood after the Biden-Trump debate. Well, Biden's gone. Harris is the candidate now. So at a minimum, we have reset the map to a traditional battleground state. But remember, after those last debates, it was Trump could win here, Trump could win here, and Trump could win here. Not only did the polls show that, and I'll bring them up, Anderson, but we talked about that after all of my travels into those states. So let's just look a little May and now. Trump ahead in Pennsylvania, you're exactly right. This is no clear leader statistically within the margin of error, but Trump had momentum. This Michigan poll, New York Times, Siena, had Biden ahead slightly. I can tell you from my travels, Trump had momentum there as well. And Wisconsin, tighter, but Trump with momentum. The question is, don't believe any one poll. Which way is the arrow pointing? Who has the momentum? Well, look at this in August now. Harris up a little bit within the margin of error, but in Pennsylvania, up a little bit more in Michigan, up a little bit more in Wisconsin.
Doesn't that sound convenient? And how they changed the message within just a few weeks? But I'm gonna go ahead and leave the judgment with you guys. This kind of actually reminds me of a previous video I did where it shows just how far mainstream media is willing to go to lie to us. Reports are now coming out that the Harris campaign is using artificial intelligence to sway voters and have us believe that she's actually getting a lot of support. Make sure you guys check that one out, because I also talk about how she herself has been lying to us about her policy positions. Now, as always, guys, appreciate you guys being here, and I'll definitely see you on the next one. Oh, and thanks so much for hitting the like button. Thank you for subscribing to the channel and sharing these videos on Facebook and Twitter.